Hey yo, what the fuck?
Hi, I'm Liv, and today I'll be talking about the point-and-click adventure game Garage Bad Dream Adventure. If you don't know anything about it, it's a game released in 1999 that was essentially lost media for more than 20 years, since the original release consisted only of 3,000 copies and then it wasn't re-released or anything. But then in 2022, people put it back together and now you can get it on Steam for 20 doubloons. Yay, happy ending! I'm not really gonna get into it in this video though. This is exclusively about the game. Because Garage is not only noteworthy for being lost for more than 20 years and then reforged and remastered and put up on Steam, yay, happy ending. It's also an amazing game. And I think that people always get too fixated in the lost game narrative. I mean, I understand most lost media is only interesting because it is lost media. However, that is absolutely not the case here. So if it looks interesting, please get it and play it and then come back to listen to my beautiful voice. I know that when you look at it, you probably think, oh, indie game that's full of symbolism and I'm gonna spend 4 hours getting absolutely destroyed by the story. I'll pass, too overwhelming. But that's where you're wrong. I mean, it is a game full of symbolism and you are most likely gonna get destroyed by the story. But it's kinda similar to Omori in the sense that there's a fun minigame and the story moves very slowly so it isn't too overwhelming. So yeah, that was my final attempt at trying to convince you to buy Garage. Let's move on to me spoon-feeding you the story. This is Garage. Please sit there. You may experience severe dizziness at first, but please bear with it. Your name? Yes, Mr. Yang. Well, Mr. Yang, are you ready? Are you worried? You'll be just fine. Trust Garage. You should be able to get what you desire. Sneakers. My sneakers. I might be able to find my shadow if I ask Psyche. Are we not allowed to open the floodgate? If I can't find my shadow, everything will be over. I'll have to live in my past forever. To you who has woken up in this room, it's good that you're awake. You were floating in the sewage water. You drifted in front of my house just when I was leaving. Since your ego level was very low, I tried to recover you, but you were unconscious and rejected it. After you have read this letter, go see a machine named Hajime. He lives in the house to your right. He will tell you about the ego clinic. You'll be able to recover your ego level there. And if possible, get out of this indecent world. This world is not right. Find your shadow, everything will start from there. Shen. One more thing. Feel free to use the bottle trap in the room. You won't get anywhere in this world unless you set a bottle trap on a winch and catch a crab first. Well, we're now apparently in the world of Garage and our ego is really low, which makes us unable to speak. We go straight to the ego clinic then. where we learn the basics of this universe. First, our ego. Ego is how much of you are. When your ego lowers, the you that's more than the sum of your parts and holds all of them together weakens. And then you eventually die, so not good to run out of ego. Then, milky fuel. Yup, bear with me here. So we are male machines. Female machines are very distinct, as you'll see in a moment. We need the milky fuel to roll around, but can't produce it ourselves. We have to get it from the female machines, and they make milky fuel by eating crabs and frogs. The residue of that process turns into sewage, more on that later. Meanwhile, the male machines can fish and roam around. We also have an output shaft, which lets us activate lifts and bolts, and is necessary in order to stir the female robot's stomachs, which is a necessary step in the making of milky fuel. And that's pretty much it. I hate feeling like a biology teacher in front of a class of 6th graders, but all of this is essential to understanding this world and its story, so yeah, you'll get used to it. So let's hop onto the carousel to get our ego back. We then learn to fish, which is the minigame I mentioned in the intro. We can set up the bottle traps with these winches around the map, and we can also fish in places with this icon. We can choose the hook size, bait, and an additional bait. This bar is the frog's health, this bar is how tense or loose the line is, red is bad, of course. And here we can reel the frog in or relax the line with this lever. Very simple. This guy here talks a lot, but it's literally just... Moving on, this is Chio. But I'm terrible with names, so to me she's the lady with the eyes welded shut. But who knows, maybe I'll remember her name by the end of this. You know Psyche? Psyche is a shadow. Shadows are something like an alter ego. It is the alter ego which everyone should have had. You might still have one. Yeah, I bet you do. But shadows eventually evaporate. They vanish, so you should hurry. If it happens, everything will be over. You will never be able to go back. Huh? Go back where? Anywhere. I really like her already, I don't know why. So, oh yeah, we got the music box for Volcanero? Buccal fat removal. I told you, names not for me. Anyways, we're taking the music box for the toy maker to fix. Well, I think it's about time to refuel. Let's head over to the station next to the carousel. Everyone say hi to Liz! Yep, this is totally fine to show on YouTube apparently. Anyways, the cashier at the fuel station says he knows Psyche, but we're gonna have to give him 50 crabs for that information. Well, we go back to the toy shop to get the music box and the score for it as a goodie, and the robot tells us a bit more about the world. I used to run a toy factory. Of course, I made a variety of toys. But nobody wants a toy today. Toys used to have a function as a learning device, but nobody is interested in studying anymore. In this world, the act of studying can only have limited value. All values are absorbed into female machines' stomach. That's so sad, dude. Here's another really important place, the shops. On the second floor, we can get fishing supplies, portable fuel, stuff to upgrade our body, and furniture. And on the third floor, there's the guy who makes the upgrades, plus this room in the back. I don't think it will surprise you to hear that the upgrade mechanic robot says that no one wants to upgrade their bodies anymore. It seems that this entire world is dying. Everything from the aesthetics to the robots, even the sound gives the impression of something that's on its last legs. And then there's Shen, the robot who supposedly owns our house. Of course, there's always the possibility that we ourselves are Shen, but let's just keep him in mind. And on top of that, the opening sequence and the menacing utterance of sneakers. I am intrigued. Well, after collecting enough crabs, the guy at the fuel station tells us this. Listen, Psyche is at the Lighthouse, in the restricted area. But to enter the Lighthouse, you must go through the laboratory. The laboratory is next to the factory. But to enter the laboratory, you need to unlock the door locked with a special lock. It's impossible. Do you get it? Yeah, right, impossible. Look around you, dude. All I need to go anywhere is a hammer and a rope, and maybe... I decided that this will be our first fishing grind of the game, since it's getting really annoying to manage my ego, my fuel, and knowing that there are frogs out there that I'm too weak to catch.
How sad they'll be when they discover you've died. Put a little muscle behind it. Check her shoulder. Throw her in the dungeon. The dungeon!
As I said earlier, this game is similar to Omori. Because, in Omori you have to fight. Most of the game is just a turn-based RPG. And it's really fun. And I think the fishing minigame is really fun. Plus it serves as downtime for you to just exist in this universe. Which makes you really attached to it, I think. And if you're thinking, wow, you play a lot of Stardew Valley, you probably missed a few of the fishes because you didn't pull the lever, you just clicked. And I'm gonna say, that's none of your business. So completely unrelated to the matter at hand, but I'm reading Microsurfs by Douglas Copeland, and it made me realize something that he does a lot in his books, which I never really see in other books, and I think it's really cool. Quite a few of his characters have had this huge tragedy happen in their past, but sometimes it does affect their life, sometimes it doesn't. But it doesn't dictate their life, For example, the protagonist in Microsurfs, his brother died when he was a kid in an accident, he drowned. But it's Microsurfs, he's a hacker, not a hacker, a programmer. He works at Microsoft, the story isn't about his dead brother. It does play a part in the family drama, and he misses his brother and stuff, but I think that is very special, showing how no matter the size of the tragedy, people move on from it and people heal, even though they don't forget. And I think that, other books should do that as well. And if my math is correct, it's been a little over 2 years since I've read A Song of Ice and Fire, and I cannot fathom why people think that A Dance with Dragons is better than A Feast for Crows. I might make a video about that in the future, but I think I'd have to reread the books. But seriously, you're blinded by your favorite characters. Like, okay, Dance has John, Tyrion, Dany, but like other chapters like are kind of boring, you know. John has 13 chapters in Dance, and all of them are like, ooh, I'm really dumb. Like, I'm so dumb. I cannot manage this place by myself. I am so dumb, and I continue to make stupid decisions, and I continue to ignore people's advice. And it's so clownish. It's terrible. I read in like the combined order because I would have gone insane if I had to read Dance in its entirety after reading Feast. And anytime a John chapter would come, even if, you know, it had been like 10 other chapters in between his and his first one and his second one, for example, I would still be like, oh no, another John chapter, because it was always the same. Dany's chapter was always the same also, because she was always like, ooh, I have to rule Marine, but it's hard. They are rebelling against me, like literally every chapter of hers. I also think that Tyrion's chapters are boring because although he moves around, he's always kind of not in the know of the situation. The first half of his POV is like, we are going down the river. And then, I don't know, it's crazy. In the middle of it, there's the probably my favorite chapter in all George R. R. Martin books, which is when they're going by Croyane. I love that chapter so much, but then he is like kind of kidnapped and is being led by Jorah. So like he has no agency and he's always kind of not knowing what's going on. Okay, he is smart, so he isn't completely clueless, but he doesn't know what he's doing. So in the end, his POV always seems like, you know, we're going here, we are going there. There is so much going on in Feast, like Cersei's trial, and Jaime's storyline, and Sansa's storyline, Arya's storyline. Just everything is happening in Feast. And meanwhile, in Dance, there's Theon, and he's being depressed in Winterfell. Anything else you'd like to rant about? Yeah, I'm reading the big book of Sherlock Holmes, something like that, which are Sherlock Holmes stories written by authors that aren't Conan Doyle. And it kind of sucks. Like, I regret buying this. It was so expensive. My hopes were too high, I think. Because no one up until now has created like a good mystery. A good mystery that I'm like, ooh, I have no idea what's going on, you know? And please, someone who writes mysteries, won't you please write a Sherlock Holmes story? The situation is dire, but I'm gonna finish reading it. Yeah, we had a good talk, back to business. The entrance to the factory is through this apartment complex, the one that doesn't hold our welded friend. At the end of this corridor, there's this quite imposing door. It gives us the option to use the score the toy maker gave us, but nothing happens. So, I don't know, man, maybe we'll talk to him later. Over here we have a really powerful elevator that's gonna drain all my milky fuel. I ain't touching that without a reserve tank. A quick fishing session and a new fuel tank later, turns out we don't have enough engine power to move the elevator, and I don't know where to get one of the upgrade components. Let's see what else we can do. Oh, the toy shop. He gives us a mechanical part to give to some other guy to upgrade something unrelated to the power engine in our body, and also helps us make our very own song. This one doesn't have any effect on the door at the factory either, but it is kinda cute. While roaming around, we meet Mia, a robot who refuses to say anything, and his wife, Tsuru. Do you know the press machines? The ones at the entrance of the restricted area? Mia made them. Mia made the new world, the lighthouse, everything. He doesn't make things anymore. There's nothing to make. He doesn't talk anymore. The only thing he does is stir my stomach. We used to think that we can achieve something in this world, although not everyone thought so. I'm so sorry, girl. Maybe we'll have to find a way to make him talk later. Well, okay, focus. Reinforced frame. I need a reinforced frame for the upgrade. My plan? Fish, sell frogs, and buy everything in the store. I mean, I'm now familiar with the map, although I still get lost sometimes. And at the moment, we've seen all available locations. So somewhere right under my nose, the reinforced frame is hiding. Let the grind begin!
Different colors, I believe in the sewing machine. I've lost myself. Memories inside my heart are there to grieve, color coded by the love he gave to me. Oh, his voice speaks to me through the radio. Pressing spotted fabric on.
While looking around, taking a break from the endless fishing, I realized that there's another door in the apartment complex. You can post a letter there, but currently I don't have the right one. And there's a light switch, so now I can roll through this corridor. Here we find another fishing spot and a locked door. But more importantly, we find Tassan at the end of this other corridor. The robot who someone along the way told us used to hang out with, the one that was actually two. There is two Doku. I know. Huh. Doku and me. A group of 3 buddies. I remember now. The sheep song. Score. Music box. Copel. Key. Open. Very well, we need a specific score then. Of course, the first robot we go to is the toy shop owner, but he doesn't say anything much. One of our other friends tells us this though. There used to be a letterpress printing shop. Many things were printed there. They printed scores too. Do you know the building called Fukuyu Apartment? That place used to be the letterpress printing shop. I wonder what the owner is doing now. Okay, over to the apartments, down the corridor, and talk to Han. Yes, it is true that I used to make music scores, but that is a very long time ago. Do you know the place called New World? Until that place was built, my job was to create scores and diaries. But since then, my job gradually shifted to making posters and flyers for the New World. And about that time, the number of roots in this world began to decrease. It was probably because the amount of sewage decreased drastically. Paper is made from roots that grow from the sewage. If the roots become scarce, we can't make paper. So I had no choice but to make posters using papers of diaries and scores. I don't know if the score you are looking for was used to make a poster, but it's a possibility. I forgot his name, but there is a machine who collects the posters I've made. Why don't you try asking him? I think his eyes were always vibrating. Like this. A poster printed on the music score of the sheep song? I don't have it, but I sure do want it. Posters are usually posted on the bulletin board, but I heard that because of renovations of buildings and the like, some posters got hidden behind walls. Mia, the builder, should know about these things, but he can't speak. Do you get it? Mia, dude, react. I'm gonna steal your wife. The hidden bulletin board? What do you wanna know? The laboratory? Psyche? You mean you're looking for a shadow? I'll give you this. Good luck finding the shadow. I love her so much, man. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much for the map, Tsuru. Okay, so toy shop's here. So... gotcha. Oh, we've reached the laboratory. I wasn't expecting that, at least not so soon. Like, this game is supposed to be 13 hours-ish long, and at this point it's hour 4-ish. I was expecting Psyche to be sort of an endgame goal, so I'm excited. Oh Jesus Christ, what is that? There's some of the female robot's shadows. And riding the elevator here, we actually meet Psyche. Again, I was not expecting that. I have been waiting for you. So you want to know about shadows, but I have just gotten used to your wavelength. I still need a little more time. Meanwhile, there is something I want you to do. I want you to recover something for me. My dream diary. Go see Viz, the manager of Seiryu apartment, and borrow one of the apartment's rooms. You'll find a letter and a telescope in the drawer. You should be able to borrow a room if you give this letter to Viz. I'm counting on you. Psyche, I hope you know that we're 100% gonna read your dream diary when we get it. Over here there are some notes further expanding your understanding of garage. Basically, ego recovering liquid is obtained by purifying sewage. I swear, this universe is the recycler's wet dream. It also could be customized for each machine, since the same liquid reaches different levels of efficiency with each machine, but again, look at this place, no one's doing advanced research around here. Apparently everyone and everything is born in the sewage, generated in the sewage, in a what seems to be much more literal sense than what we understand when someone says that everything is made out of atoms, Mother Nature, cycle of life, etc. Machines have to live close to the sewage, as it is vital to maintaining the levels of ego. Except one possibility. Shadows are our alter ego, or the other half. There are several phases to shadows. The most often seen shadows are what I call the original shadows. They are shadows born into the world of garage and at their first phase. It is the base phase, and from this phase, the shadow changes in several ways. It is well known that shadows eventually evaporate if they spend a long time in this world. But through the observation by horoscope, we discovered that it does not necessarily mean that they have disappeared completely. I call this phase the ethereal shadow. Its characteristic is that it has no name. An ethereal shadow is a shadow that has given up being someone's shadow. There are also shadows that change in an opposite way. However, a special catalyst is necessary for this change to occur. It can't change by itself. That is the duty of us machines. And then there are these valves. Let's see. And I've disabled the presses that were always threatening to crash us. And apparently lower the bridge. Maybe the bridge at the factory, but we'll see. Taking this elevator, we're back to the outer track. In this chapter, everyone starts talking about a female machine called Juice. Thinking about Juice makes me feel like what I am doing is nothing. There were many times I almost got crushed by this thought. Juice, she was a frightening girl, but it's probably not her fault. It's nobody's fault. Something was just missing. There used to be a girl named Juice. She was small but mysterious. She had a strong something that made you feel like you'll be drawn into her and disappear when she stood in front of you. When she came before me, it made me feel like I'm a lesser existence than dust. It's not a good feeling. It feels scary and dark. Once I'm drawn into it, I'll never be able to come out again. Just when this thought came to me, I lost my vision. And this little guy warns us that dream diaries make ego levels decrease rapidly, so watch out for that. There is no such thing as Psyche's dream diary. Psyche is a dream. She is a dream itself. Psyche is a dream, but maybe everything is a dream. Could it be that we are the ones who are... Bro, this dialogue is ego levels decreasing. At the apartments, the landlord gives us the key to apartment 8, where we can see Chen, the robot who probably has Psyche's dream diary and is married to Juice? I don't know, some guy says that he gets to do nothing but drink Juice's fuel, so we'll see. We follow him and end up in New World, a theater of sorts. He tells us that he only has Juice's dream diary and asks us to move the bridge behind the water tower, get him fire stream liquid, and he'll give us Juice's dream diary, not Psyche's. Oh well. Also, the bridge is actually lowered, you lazy fuck, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Onto the bridge. We reach this lab, mix the chemicals for the fire stream liquid, and yahoo, back to Chen. Hey, you have it? Come on, give it to me. He was fine, so I should be fine too. Oh, reinforced frame! And the diary! It's dark, dark, dark. I'm between two walls. There's no space between the walls. There's no way I can be here. But I am definitely there. I scratch myself to make sure that I'm here. Scratch until I bleed. Scratch until I bleed. Bleed. It hurts. The pain reassures me. I can see body fat. Bumps. It's painful. Bumps. Pain, 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 pain. Somebody comes. Who can it be? Please don't interrupt me. Please, 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 please don't come in here. I realize that my hands are somebody's hands and somebody's hands are my hands. Scratching my body, hot, sticky, and slimy thing it is. Sticky and slimy thing is covering my whole body, and the sticky and slimy thing feels so good that I yield myself to it. Then many sticky and slimy faceless people come and tell me that I'm a maggot. You're a maggot. You're a maggot. And I say, yes I am. Yes I am. I am a maggot. And I start to feel better. But then the floor suddenly slants and I'm unable to stand straight. And the only one not tilting is you. I'm sorry. I say I'm sorry, but no one forgives me. I don't know what to say. Glad you woke up, Juice. After getting our long overdue upgrade, we go hand Psyche Juice's dream journal, and she accepts it. So I guess Psyche is Juice's shadow? Well, she tells us that she feels our shadow somewhere under the sewage, and we'll need a boat to get there. The two upgrade mechanics also both told us that there's an even better upgrade we can get, but we'll get there when we get there. We check out what's below with the heavy cargo elevator, and it's a bunch of fishing spots and this lone robot, Guattari, at the end of several lonely tracks. Anyways, talking to our friends, it seems that the only robot who still owns a boat is Lou, a female robot who's at the Ego Clinic, but she's a patient in a restricted area, and the receptionist won't let us see her unless we fish a crab eater for him. Oh, there we go. We take the crab eater to Mr. Cheeks over here, and he takes us to see the patients. Let me introduce them to you. In the nearest room is Doku, in the middle room is Bam, and Lou's room is at the very end of the hallway. Can I really show this? Well, whatever, I guess so. We use this speaker to play songs for her, and she gives us this thingy to give to Viz, the apartment manager. And with that, he lets us go down to Lou's room, and here's her boat. Down here in the sewage, we find her diary. Viz does not see me in a true sense. Viz pities me. But I'm not pitiful. I'm just a little different from other machines. Nothing more than that. I can live on my own. My body is made that way. That's why I'm fine being alone. There is no problem. I feel relaxed when I'm in the sewage canal. There is nobody here. Nobody bothers me. I can be myself when I'm here. I didn't like it at first because it's dark, but now I like the darkness. This is my place. No one sees me as I am. No one. But what is it like to be seen as you are? What is as you are like? I don't know. I feel kind of happy when I see Juice, but everyone seems to be afraid of her. Maybe that's why. Juice is probably not seen as she is by anyone either. I found the poor thing. It must be someone's shadow. It probably has nowhere to go, just like me. I wish I had a shadow too. Where can my shadow be? I want to meet my shadow. Oh, why did they lock Lou up? She was just fishing and minding her own business. We navigate this place, find out that it connects to our house, and then we find our shadow. Please don't erase me. Yang, please don't erase me. Who are you? You're not Yang? You didn't come to erase me? You are me? I don't understand. I really don't understand. But if it's true, sneakers. Find my sneakers. I don't know what it is, but I can't be me if I don't have it. Oh, the damn sneakers. We'll get them for you, dude. Don't worry. Back to the surface, we go talk to our friend with the eyes welded shut, and she tells us this. So, you met your shadow. You're Yang, aren't you? I knew it from the start. That's why I knew somewhere in my heart that this will eventually happen to you. You're looking for your core memory, right? At the back of the stage of the New World, you'll find a room which Yang used to use. Yang met his shadow once. In other words, your shadow. Yang planned to eliminate his shadow on stage as a show, but he didn't do it. So if you go to that room, you might... Okay, I have so many questions. What was that initial cutscene? Like, that was Yang, but Yang is also us. Who and where is Shen? Why did we lose our memories and most of our ego? Literally, what is going on with the world of Garage? On to New World then. We lift the screen and in the back room we find Yang's dream diary. Sneakers. There are frogs living in my sneakers. When I walk, the frogs struggle, get squished. They turn into white intestines and ooze out. It feels good. My heart is crushed. I am a cleaning rag soaked with black liquid. I am wrung and I become tight and hard. Black liquid well up from inside the rag and seeps out. The black liquid and white intestines mix together. The rag sharpens itself to escape, gets harder and becomes iron. Iron. I become iron. I must go and stick myself somewhere. But unfortunately, no core memory. Our friend Tsuru also tells us a little more about her husband's muteness. The shadow. So you found it. I can tell, because things I've forgotten are coming back to me. You know, Mia stopped talking after he made the press machines. I don't know why. Before that, he used to build various buildings using the machines, working at the factory now. But he suddenly became depressed and hazy. He doesn't answer to anything I say. He never says a word. I believe he didn't do anything wrong. His job is a respectable job, isn't it? Don't you think so? And Hajime tells us to stop trying to talk to him about weird stuff. We should go talk to Viz, he's weird, just like us. So Viz tells us to go talk to the robot that's isolated underneath the factory, but we need a strong body to move the elevator, blah 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 blah. Way ahead of you, dude. Over there, we tell Guattari about our sneakers problem, and he gives us this device. Shadows have their original world. For shadows, the core memory is an item that acts as a bridge to that world. The shadow regains its memory by obtaining it. But if the shadow's power is weak, we machines can't see the core memory. Oh, I'll give you something good. This is called the dowsing compass. It reacts to things that are odd in this world, like shadows and core memory. One is it reacts to shadows and core memories far away. If you have this, you can see the response on your map too, but it is only effective on things that are related to the user. The other is that it makes weak core memories visible by amplification. Anyone can confirm this if the distance between the object and the dowsing compass is close. You might have already guessed, but these two features are offshoots of one function. You should be able to find your core memory by using it. I don't need it. My shadow doesn't exist anymore. Hey, take this with you. You might need it. This world has changed dramatically because of an exceptionally interesting machine named Yang. The following are the details. Yang was born with an unusually high ego level and greatly exceeded the average in fuel efficiency and engine power. It is already clear that there is a strong connection between shadows and machines. The higher the machine's abilities, the paler the shadow's existence. But we still do not know if this is true, because there are cases like Psyche, which I will go into details later. However, when we consider the perverse obsession Yang had against this world, I think we can say that some kind of negative element towards shadows existed within him. The first thing Yang did was female hunting. Today's imbalance of males and females started from this point. I do not know why his first target was female machines, but this probably has something to do with the world of shadows too. At the time, Yang met the most important female machine in his life, Juice. This extraordinary female machine did not fall apart even with the waves emanated from the music box with a resonator. Juice's ego level must have surpassed Yang's. There is another thing that is amazing about Juice. This female machine has a shadow, Psyche. This shadow with a name defied by some is Juice's shadow. Juice is a perfect existence that should not exist in this world. If I were to consider the possibilities of things like this happening, the only possibility I can think of is the complete loss of the shadow's real world. I am not sure if this is true, but his meeting with Juice marked the end of his female hunting. The next thing Yang started was shadow hunting. This makes sense, because shadows are odd beings in this world and were nothing but a nuisance to Yang. The existence of shadows is a crucial element that makes this world transient. This truth must have been very irritating for Yang, who had a sense of aversion or hostility towards shadows. To Yang, this world was a one and only world, and at the same time, a prison. I must make a confession. I did not invent the horoscope to eliminate shadows. It may sound like an excuse, but that function was a side effect. However, because of the horoscope I invented, this world's shadows were virtually annihilated. No, annihilated is not correct. They have been turned into ethereal shadows, to be exact. Furthermore, Yang came up with the idea of putting the evaporation of shadows using the horoscope on show. This was the beginning of the New World. Yang's desire to be known, coming from his self-destructiveness and loneliness, showed no signs of stopping. The New World shows, which started with the Shadow Murder Show using the horoscope, changed into more direct and ridiculous shows like the Fire Show featuring female machines and the ego-destroying show in which machines were dismantled. In retrospect, it is strange that the machines of this world accepted such things. However, if you consider this world to be basically the same as the world of Yang for everyone, it does make some sense. In fact, there is no denying that I felt a strong sense of disgust, but at the same time felt my emotion heightened by those shows. However, a more essential and important problem emerged: the decrease of sewage. Needless to say, the sewage is the waste produced by female machines. Because of Yang's female hunting, the number of female machines decreased dramatically. This is something that was discovered through research conducted for the first time after the decrease of sewage, but the vaporizing component of the sewage was absolutely necessary to maintaining the ego levels of machines. Yang must have been irritated with the antimony created between his desire-driven actions and their consequences. However, the actions Yang took were clear-cut. He solved this problem by making only two changes possible to him. One was the modification of Juice. The other was the installment of floodgates. If there is not enough sewage, just make more. If it is still not enough, make it so that it becomes enough. The establishment of the Milky Fuel Station might have been against Yang's will, because Yang unintendedly played a role of bringing something societal into the disorderly world. The modification of Juice not only produced large amounts of sewage, but also a great deal of milky fuel. But the milky fuel produced by Juice was not available to all male machines. Even the modification of Juice was not enough to eliminate the supply shortage of milky fuel. Yang has overly reduced the number of female machines. So the 3 female machines who were placed on show at the New World were added. It was convenient that the 3 female machines had ego level far higher than the average female machines, although they were nowhere near Juice. The memories of the New World were erased from the 3 female machines by Ein, and they were placed in the Milky Fuel Station. This is how the Milky Fuel Station system based on Juice and the 3 female machines was established. Perhaps this was a blessing in disguise for these female machines, because they might have been dismantled if the sewage didn't decrease. Wait, so are we Yang? I guess that's already pretty clear. I just don't want to believe that we did all that. Anyways, we travel all the way back to New World, get the sneakers, go back to our shadow, give him the sneakers, and this is... yes, this is it. My head hurts. Ugh, I can't stand it. Something is missing. Something. I have to go. Back to the hermit to tell him what happened to the shadow? He says that it has gone looking for the imprint stone and also gives us the code to the box. I didn't mention it until now because but there's this box in our room, but like, look at this, no way to brute force it, so I didn't mention it. But yeah, we go back and... where's Liz? Bro, where's Liz? Liz has been dismantled. I did it. Because she begged persistently. So I granted her wish. What do you mean you dismantled Liz? This has hit me unexpectedly hard, not gonna lie. Anyways, we march onwards. Going back home, we open the box, and there we find Shen's diary. I don't remember anything. Who am I? My memory is scattered. Why? To use this music score, I probably need to attach another part of this music box. A resonator, if I have it. I got the code needed to get the resonator. Now I can change this music box into a destructive device. It is in Ain's room. Bucanero didn't have it. Why hesitate now? The answer is right in front of you. I don't understand it. No, I knew the answer from the beginning, but I don't want to accept it. Two contradicting problems. The first proposition, this world is wrong. The second proposition, is it right to delete things that are wrong? No one would probably survive if I opened the floodgate. The thoughts I have, whose thoughts are they really? Who thinks this is wrong? Is it really me? Or am I the one who is wrong? What is judgment? Am I being smug? A will hanging in midair. Everything is just a fantasy that I've created. This world is my fantasy. This is probably correct. But what does that matter? That doesn't change anything. What does disappearing mean in this world? Could it be a meaningless thing? What is it to me? To me, it means that all the thoughts and problems I have right now will disappear, as far as I can understand. Then, does it mean that deleting my fantasy means deleting myself? I'm going to quit thinking about it anymore. There are two things clear. No matter what it is, I don't want to make it meaningless. And I need to see my shadow again. These two things are probably not compatible. However, this is not a problem anymore. Who can know ahead of time whether the path one is planning to take is the right one or not? And we also get the noise score, which makes other machines insane by draining their egos. At this point, I feel like I have to tell you that the horror aspect of the game is starting to get to me. The previous days, I'd go to sleep and not even worry about it. Horror usually doesn't affect me if there isn't like a possibility of me Like suggestive horror gets me much more than any other type of horror, horror that I'm thinking, wow, this could happen to me. What if that does happen to me? Like, for example, the Mandela Catalog, I had to stop watching that because I could not sleep well for like a year after I watched season 1 because I was like, oh my god, what if that happens to me? But other types of horror don't really get to me. However, I don't know, like all the imagery and the death of Liz and the knowledge of what we've done really scrambled my brain. I feel uneasy about returning for another play session. I mean, I feel so guilty, it truly feels like I did all that. I just don't want to face all my friends now that I know. But I know that I must. So here we go. So you were a dangerous machine after all. I have nothing more to tell you. The things I know are worthless to you now. You don't care how the rust is gradually spreading, nor how the color of the sewage is a little different every day, do you? It's okay, you don't have to say anything. I understand that you're different. Stop, please, I don't want things to be like this. What I wanted wasn't there. The ground disappeared. Now I can't even build scaffolding. It's just complete dark. Why? It's not fair. Not fair. No, don't disappear! Tsuru and Mia are so kind to me. Today I repaired Siriu apartment with Mia. It was difficult at first, but I got used to working using the mobile lift. It feels good to work in high places. I learned about the construction method using a temporary track. Mia teaches me kindly. I finally understand how the foundation work is started at places where tracks are not built. I practiced drilling the tunnel. It is not complicated, but is heavy work. Need to be careful of roof fall. Someone has called Mia to the restricted area. Who called him? What was it about? Mia told me that we are going to make a thing called a press machine. It is a machine that crushes machines that try to enter the restricted area. I can't believe it. Even now, nobody enters that place. Gates should be enough. Why are we making such a thing? And Mia is acting a little weird. It seems like he has become a different machine. I don't want to be involved in the construction of the press machines. I don't understand why we need such a thing. Why did Mia accept this job? What happened at the restricted area? Mia has been working without a break and barely talked since he went there. I still like Mia, but I'm gonna stop working with him. I'll just do my own business. My business. I know what I want to do. I want to go somewhere far. Tsuru is feeling down. Poor thing. Is this world closed? I knew it. I can't go anywhere. It is full of dead ends. I can't go anywhere. I'm sick and tired of it. It took a long time, but now the press machine seemed to be complete. And Mia doesn't talk anymore. He doesn't even move. This is wrong. Something's wrong. I took some crabs to Tsuru, but she didn't give me any answer. It is completely closed. A new machine named Shen showed up. Who is he? Shen came again. He asks me a lot of questions. I have no idea what he wants. I have the skills taught to me by Mia. With the skills I acquired from Mia, I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah, I'll just build a road myself. Drill the tunnel, reinforce the walls, extended the track. I'm raising the lift gradually. Shen talks to himself so much. He seems to be looking for something too, but there is nothing here, unless we go somewhere else. What is a shadow? Oh, who cares? There's no need to rush, just take it slow. I've climbed so high, but nothing is happening. Will I really be able to go somewhere? No, something will happen for sure. Nothing has changed. Same as always. How long am I going to keep doing this? Stick to it a little more. Don't give up. You shouldn't give up. If I give up, it's over. If I don't give up, there will be no end to it. As long as I don't give up. I don't want to end it this way. No way, definitely not. Definitely not. Yes, I made it through. A hollow space. Yes, I'm going to move on further. What I did was right. I need to build scaffolding first. But I should take it slow. A different machine came out from the room where Shen used to live, and it was word lost. Weird guy. Noom has gone somewhere. I can't keep on living anymore. No, Tsuru, please don't say that. Where is everyone? This key opens this shack in the back, which belongs to the mechanic who can upgrade our body one final time. But like, I don't even care anymore. Why is everything falling apart like this? Are you going to see Yang? But to do so, you need to modify your music box. Like the laboratory, you need to play a special music to open the door to that room. You can attach a resonator to your music box, you know? You can't play the noise core unless a resonator is attached to it. Somebody at the laboratory probably has it, because I heard that resonators were made in the laboratory. But you should be careful when using it. You won't be safe either. Chiyo, I just want to be friends with everyone. Well, we gotta do this. Let's go to the lab. This robot gives us the resonator for the music box, saying, I knew you would someday come here searching for the resonator, and that time has come. I have dedicated all of me to realize Yang's wishes, because the realization of his wishes is the meaning of this world. And his wishes constitute all of the things that should happen in this world. The things that happened so far are things that had to happen. There, each and every choice becomes equivalent. They are equivalent in the sense that they all had to happen. I must witness the result, because that is the meaning of my existence here. I didn't guide Yang. Yang acted first and I acted after him. I never wanted to become Yang, because I don't know who Yang was, and I don't want to delete myself either. I probably don't exist from the start. This world can only be saved by ending it. No one will mourn over it. No one will rejoice over it either. So we used the music box on the door, and now... You're that machine, aren't you? It's me, Shen. I've come here to erase Yang. Are you relieved? But Yang wasn't here because I was Yang. And you are Yang too. When you split off from me, a new personality named Shen was born inside me. You don't understand what I'm saying? I was the one who threw the split off you into the sewage. And I was also the one who saved the dying you. You are an alter ego of me created by my excessive ego level. This is not a metaphor. You were born for me. It means that Shen was an unbelievable fool. But it's different now. I am Yang. The scar you have has brought back all of my memories. I regret saving you. You've come here to erase me with that scar, right? Are you scared? Doesn't it give you the chills? But what you're trying to do is what I should be doing. Give me that. I have long wished for you to surpass me. I have always wished you would go places I was never able to go. I couldn't open the floodgate, and I couldn't stay in this world either. What I saw was a confused world created by Yang, the former me. Yes, I too watched the same world you've seen as somebody else's problem. I didn't know who I was until Ayn told me. I didn't know what I'd done until Guattari told me, and I tried to understand the former me. Like what kind of desires of mine created this world? Like what kind of wishes of mine made this world like this? However, I was hardly able to understand the former me. But there were still some things I was able to understand. That this world exists for Juice and for my lost past. The former me is the one who made Juice like that. I felt so sorry for Juice and was dismayed, but I couldn't provide her anything. The former me is also the one who left the shadows of the Milky Fuel Station's female machines that way, but I couldn't understand any of their appeals. I was just an incompetent machine who can do nothing. I wondered if there is anything I could do. I thought about my role. I thought about what I am to this world. I knew one thing for sure, that I haven't accomplished what is required of me in this world yet. And I knew somehow that the floodgate must not be opened without it being accomplished. But I don't know what I must accomplish. No, it doesn't matter whether I accomplish it or not. The truth is that there is still something that must be accomplished in this world, and this world is waiting for it to be accomplished. It is likely that you are the one who will accomplish it in the end. I exist only to stop the gap. This conclusion I reached shocked me. Why you? Why not me? But the devastating truth is, there is no possibility left in me. I am just an empty shell. There is no violence left in me. I'm just a puppet who has useless ego level and power. A puppet who has no desire but to be stupidly honest. I had to accept the truth. And that was not all. I am a hindrance to you. You won't be able to accomplish what you are capable of as long as I exist. I am putting a lid on the possibility this world has. I am the unwanted and obstructive lid itself. I should not stay in this world any longer. And if so, there is only one thing I can do. There is just one thing left for me to do for this world. Please forgive me for testing you. I have no intention of forcing something on you anymore. I am not qualified to do that. You probably don't know what this world wants either, but there is one thing certain. If you are reading this, all the possibilities are in your hands right now. All the things the world wants can be found in the possibilities you are capable of choosing. And no matter what action you choose, it will be the best choice. I believe so. This world is your world. I have entrusted the key to the floodgate passage to Juice. She should decide what to do with that key. This is Juice. Yang, you've come back. It's been a long time. I thought everybody was gone. I was lonely, very lonely. You want this key? What is this key for? I don't know. What is this? Why do I have this? This key is mine. If this is what you want, then that is mine. It is mine. Dude, I can't handle this. Like, I did this to Juice. I did this to Juice. To me, I did this to Juice. To me, it seems like she lives on the very limit of going word lost. Her ego spread too thin. I feel so guilty. I hate this. Talking to Psyche, she says this. I was desired. I was just a desired being. Did the one that desired me disappear? Or does it still exist? If the one that desired me disappears, I should disappear too. The past is over, but you must bring an end to your past, yourself. Now my duty is over. It was all for the best, perhaps, because you are also Yang. Yang wanted to become you. It's time for me to go. We will never meet again. Well, it would be really difficult to explain Chapter 9 the way I've been doing with the other chapters, without it sounding like a fetch quest without the letters and story bits in between. But it being Garage Bad Dream Adventure, the fetch quest has to crush your heart in the process. You know when in a game or in a movie you have to put several spirits to rest by doing their mini side quests? That's basically the entire chapter. Some of them just disappear. Lou and the two other patients at the ego clinic, this. Meanwhile, seemingly unrelated to that, just as ego levels increase, getting close to what they used to be before she was modified. All the fetch quests lead us to getting an ordinary stone, which used to be magic but forgot about it, and then to upgrading our body one final time to be able to catch Wang Shui, a talking frog that supposedly has the answers we are looking for. I never thought anyone would be able to catch me. You're unbelievable. What do you want? The only thing I can give you is this. So you had the stone. It is the will to keep dreaming. Do you know what this dream means? This dream is this world itself. In other words, if you have it, you won't fall apart no matter what happens. you'll be freed from the burden of maintaining those stupid ego level and fuel. Do you know how doom is caused? By rocks collapsing, by getting engulfed by a flood, or by falling meteorites? These things are cruel yet beautiful dooms. But there is a most common and hopeless doom. That's destroying oneself. Here is a very story of destroying oneself. Are you interested? To me, it is just a well-worn story you can find anywhere. But I'm not the one who decides if it is well-worn or not. This story came from the same place the memory of the stone came from. Jeez, what a selfish jerk, using my body without my permission. I let her die. I killed her. I am the one who killed her. Whatever the reason, whatever the course of event, I am the one who killed her. I didn't want her to die. I didn't want to kill her. I wanted her to live. I wished she would come out of the cage and discover the world outside. But my thoughts mean nothing because she is no longer here. At first, I couldn't understand at all why she desired my violence. But now, I think I understand why she had to drive herself into such a dreadful situation. I think she never intended to put herself into a corner. She just accepted as a given that the world is a more dreadful place. That was what the world was to her. The world she wished to live in was far more dreadful. And that was the only world she knew. She had no other choice. It is very possible that seeking violence from me was the only communication means she could choose. First, it approaches me smiling. It raises its hand smiling and surprises me. Its face is facing me, but it is not looking at me. The face is a mask. It is a mask, but it starts moving. The moving mask is made of many worms and makes incomprehensible sound. I can't move. When I look closer, I see that the whole body of that something wearing a worm mask is also made up of worms. The worms grab my hands and hair and shake me. The world starts to spin and everything bursts. And then my surroundings turn pitch black. There is a hole. I go into it. But inside the hole, my arms and legs become heavy and I can't move. It is sloshy, and I can't go anywhere because it clings to my body. I can't go anywhere anymore. It is my fault that I can't go anywhere. No, it's not my fault. I've done nothing. Then I open my eyes and find the smiling face in front of me again. Tons of worms are smiling. The world spins, bursts, and turns pitch dark. This is repeated again and again and again. No matter how I struggle, it doesn't change. I can never escape from it. That is my world. That is why I decided to find a deeper hole inside the hole. I'm going to keep going into the hole to find a hole that is not sloshy. Everyone has strange delusions. Most of them are stupid delusions, caused by stupid reasons. Maybe all delusions are stupid, but that's not what matters. There is a reason for a reason, and there is a reason for that reason too. What I'm saying is, stupid things are not just stupid. I started to help her find her deep hole. The reason is simple, she wanted me to help her. At the same time, I opened the gate to my wickedness, because I couldn't help her without opening the gate. The quest for her deep hole escalated gradually, and as it escalated, she was gnawed by anxiety and was worn down more than ever. But she kept telling me that we are almost there, and I became unable to distinguish between guilt and pleasure. It is difficult to say that people can get used to anything, but I think it is possible to become numb. I don't know if the deep hole she wanted is a numb place or not, but I got obsessed with constantly renewing my numbness towards myself. There was only action with no room for empathy. And this action woke up my memories of the past, which I had sealed up. Everybody grows up surrounded by overwhelming violence. This is a generality. In this process, I tried to fight this reality by using equal violence. It means I was wicked enough from the beginning. But as I grew up, I sealed up my wickedness with absurd things like ethics, honesty, and love. Still, I don't think I ever had any ethics or honesty, let alone love. I only saw them as something like clouds in the sky. They never belonged to me, and I had many chances to verify this perception, not only for myself, but also for others. Not only me, but also everyone revealed their true nature so easily. The clouds floating in the sky were nobodies. They belonged to no one. Nobody can become a cloud in the sky. People only wish to have them. People just keep wishing for them. Those clouds never come down to earth. I think those clouds are wishes themselves. But I don't believe that everyone is born as a wicked being. Wickedness is only a part of a being, not the whole, or merely a process of a movement. That's what I thought, but I was almost taken over by the wickedness, which was only a part of me. This temptation got stronger every time I answered her request. That is how I drifted away from the clouds floating in the sky, although I never lost sight of them. I frequently imagined me and her switching bodies. It's a wild imagination. It was impossible, and there was no point in imagining it. And whether I desire it or not, no change will happen. Only physical violence can create change. But what she really wanted was probably not violence, but the result of violence. That is dependence. I know that. There is no identity there, only the possibility of a body able to change. There was one time I felt she and I were sharing her hole. At that time, I felt for sure that I was in the hole with her. But I was the one who felt that way, not her. I don't know if she felt she had shared the hole with me or not. She might have needed me, but what she needed was my violence, not me. Becoming violence is the only way to be needed by her. But even so, she says it has to be me. I probably shouldn't have answered her requests. I shouldn't have opened the gate to my wickedness, but I couldn't imagine myself choosing another path. By trying to get close to her, I opened another hole that would never intersect. And the end came abruptly. We didn't reach the end of the path of exploration. We simply failed. Well, it seems like you're ready. Now I can restart the time I have stopped. It is up to you to decide whether you will go beyond this or not. How about it? Do you wanna go? Alright then, I have nothing to say. Go and see what happens with your own lies. Something has changed inside my mind just now, as if a part of my memory has suddenly been released. Why do I feel so insecure? Hey, will you go see Copel and check how Juice is doing? Was I a bad girl? Did I become this because I was bad? Was I? Wasn't I? Did I do nothing? Did I do something? Which is it? It's not fair. Yang, you can move. Not fair. What about me? What's gonna happen to me? Am I like this forever? This forever? Here she asks us to see Medici, Guattari, Ayn, and Copel, and they talk about her, about how Yang was scared of her and tried to suppress her power with the modifications. How it seemed like she didn't have any of the limitations the other machines had. How, despite this being our world, she was an unwanted intruder here. Or was she? I don't know. About how she wasn't a monster. And then I want to disappear into the hole. Yang, play it. I can do it myself. I learned to do it. I kept thinking about it, and now I'm able to do it. So we can go together, Yang. I'll break the stone that's standing in your way. Good. Please remember me, Yang. I have been waiting for you. Please, please, give me what she gave you got ripped. I am you, or are you me? Then who is who? Who has slipped out of Shen? Thanks. Here, you couldn't get Madison's wrench. Come here, quickly. Gombe's sewage leaked. It feels good, because work is the reason we exist. Give me your pot crab. You let Honda borrow your pot crab. Fishing is great. Today I caught an albino suihole. I wanted to dismantle the story. Albino Ein ran away. We meet at last. It took so long, but I'm glad. I never thought we would be able to meet like this, even if this is the first and the last time. Are you still afraid of me? What were you afraid of? Were you afraid of me dying? Or were you afraid of dying yourself? Were you afraid that I couldn't change? Were you afraid that you couldn't change? Were you afraid that I'll take someone away? Were you afraid that you'll take someone away? I was afraid too. But what was I afraid of? I don't know. But I'm not afraid anymore. Why is it? The thing I was afraid of, it went far away. Did you try to become the same as me? Did you want to become like me? But you couldn't. I don't want you to. And you can never be like me. If you become the same as me, if that was possible, we wouldn't have met each other. You were controlled by your feeling of deficiency and hatred, and I probably was what made you open that door. But what about me? Did I have hatred too? I lacked so many things that I never thought about hatred. But I don't have to keep dreaming anymore. The dream is over now. We did what we had to do. That's all. We just had to see it. We couldn't give up seeing it. Were we able to see it? I don't know. I don't know, but we are meeting now like this. That is everything. I wonder what is waiting for us. Nothing? Even if it is so, that might not be so bad, because we were able to end it. There are so many things that can't be ended, but we were able to end it, and it seemed so impossible to end. Isn't that good enough? I'm sorry. I'm forcing myself to think that way, because I have no choice. Sometimes you just have to force yourself. If I didn't, I won't be able to end it properly. I don't want to end it yet. I I can't end it like this. On second thought, why don't we dream a little longer? Let's take it slow, okay? Let's take time. Let's not rush. I want you to hear my story, and I want to hear your story too. We've come all this way without talking much. That's a little sad, isn't it? So, this key, the key to the floodgate, can I still keep it? Until the time comes. Just until the time comes. During chapter 11, Juice wants to play pretend that we're just happy in this life as a couple, us feeding her crabs and frogs and stirring her stomach. The machines around town are all in what seems to be a state of delirium, asking us to get completely meaningless stuff for them, like a piece of string or a dry frog or a screw. After Juice mentions each of them, they talk about a dream they had and then go back to their delirium. As we increase intimacy with her by feeding her frogs and crabs, she feels strange, like something inside of her is trying to come out. Later, she asks us to play something in the music box, and this is it, the sound. This is my melody. Mine? This score. It's Lou's melody. I'm Juice. Lou's melody. My melody. Lou and me. Me who robs everything. Me who swallowed you. Me who liked riding boats. Me who liked playing the music box. Yes, I remember now. That was it. Juice and I, we used to be one, and we split into two. Just like you. I was destroyed by Psyche. Psyche and I couldn't connect. At the time, I couldn't imagine that Psyche was my shadow. Psyche just had no place to go. Sewage canal, my place, my precious place. I hid diary in sewage canal. Oh my god! Like, I'm happy that Lou's still here, but like, I'm also sad. I like her so much, and like, I don't know what to say. I am in shock. From this point forward, Juice Lou keeps asking us to find her diary, which she stashed in the sewers. The only possibility is finding a crowbar or something to get rid of this interactable wall here, since I've already explored the entirety of the sewer system and there's nothing else around. And that's where the people of Garage and their meaningless requests come in. Hajime gives us a cap, which we take to buccal fat removal. We receive rusted screw, give to Mia, receive dried up rusty frog, take it to Chio, receive burned out light bulb, take it to Han, receive crooked fish hook, take it to Takashi, receive chipped gear, take it to Honda, and get a nail puller. Perfect! And in the sewers we find... short piece of string. Okay, guess we have to go back to the grind. Take the piece of string to Tsuru, receive torn stamp, take it to Jirobe, receive cracked bottle, give it to Gombe, receive broken bottle fragment, give it to... No, wait. We can use it to cut the rope in the sewers. I had a dream. I didn't know that I could dream, but that was me. I was small and looked like a shadow. My shadow probably looks like that. The shadow like me was hugging something tightly. A fluffy brown thing. It wore a small bell around its neck. Bon-chan. That's what I called the brown thing in the dream. Bon-chan was left abandoned at a garbage dump. Bon-chan was ragged. But it was very cute, and it looked at me. No one ever looked at me like that before. There was nothing scary hiding behind its eyes. I was drawn in by its eyes and hugged Bon-chan in joy. I feel stifled. I'm having trouble taking in air lately. What's wrong with me? There shouldn't be any problem. Am I fooling myself about something? Scary sound. The scary sound of me becoming something not me. The scary sound that comes from my body. It was by accident at first. As always, I just thought I'd imitate the sound of the music box. I didn't know what happened, but my ego level suddenly decreased. It was scary, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. I can't stop doing it. It's painful, but I feel relieved when I do it. It makes me feel like I've been forgiven. I guess I am fooling myself, because I feel pain. I feel pain, but there is nothing I can do. I can't stand it that the only thing I can do is to endure it. If there is something I can do besides enduring it, I'll choose that. I can't help it. I found Bon-chan, which I saw in my dream. I can't believe Bon-chan really existed. Could it be the core memory of my shadow? If so, if it is really so, I can go to another world with my shadow by giving this to my shadow. I'm right, aren't I? If only I could meet my shadow. If I can do so, my shadow, where is my shadow? We take her secret diary to her and she asks us to find Bon-chan's bell in her room. It's Bon-chan, my Bon-chan. I was with people with no face. People had a variety of masks. Smiling mask, angry mask, troubled mask, crying mask. But they were all masks. The eyes on the mask were black holes. They were black holes because they had no face. My body froze when they looked at me with those eyes. I got paralyzed. When I got paralyzed, the masks threw garbage at me. I was the mask's garbage can. The masks threw all kinds of garbage into me. Verbal garbage, violent garbage, hard ones and soft ones, fresh ones and rotten ones. I was always filled with garbage, and the garbage that didn't fit in overflowed. When garbage overflowed from me, the masks tried to push them back into me, saying, "Get the garbage out of our sight." But I couldn't close the lid of the garbage can. So I closed myself with the lid of the garbage can still open. The closed me went inside my own hole. No one could get into this hole. The masks couldn't get into this hole. I was the only one who could get in. I waited inside the hole until it ended, until the masks were satisfied. I wanted to get closer to the people wearing masks. I wanted the people wearing masks to be happy. I wanted to be needed by the people wearing masks. I thought if I get closer to them, their masks will disappear and I'll be able to see their faces. I thought it would be possible if I tried hard. I thought they were faceless under the mask because of me. But I no longer felt that way. I thought I can't do this anymore. I desired nothing anymore. I couldn't do anything anymore. I really couldn't do anything. The masks disappeared, leaving me behind. Since I couldn't do anything, I stayed still. Then a group of masks I didn't know came along, and they took me to a different place. The masks who I didn't know didn't throw violent garbage into me, but that was the only difference. No one looked at me. There were only black hole eyes, the same eyes as the disappeared masks. I ate the food offered by the masks I didn't know, and I began to stand up and walk. But still I was closed off and desired nothing. Then a different person came. It was you. You were also wearing a mask at first, but your black hole eyes gradually changed, and I started to see your face under the mask. In a matter of time, I was able to see your face completely. It was the first time for me to see a person with a face. You talked to me with eyes that weren't holes and took me outside. You waited for me even when I didn't say anything or stopped walking. And you said you loved me. I couldn't understand what you were saying. I thought of myself as a garbage can because people only threw garbage into me. This person isn't trying to throw garbage into me. That was the only thing I understood. I was puzzled, because the desire I once lost was rekindled slightly. I wanted to get closer to you, who I can see the face, but I couldn't think of any ways to get closer to you, except one. So I asked you, do you want to throw garbage into me? Then you said, you're not a garbage can. His words made me sad, because it made me feel displaced. So I asked again, do you want to throw garbage into me, too? You got upset, very upset, and you threw garbage into me. The mask returned on your face when you threw garbage into me, and your mask turned into the masks of all the people who made me into a garbage can. When I faced all the masks, something started to overflow from me. I was swallowed by the things that overflowed from me, and I wished everything I could. Touch me, don't touch me. Caress me, hit me, don't hit me. Be happy, be angry, don't be angry. Forgive me, be sad, don't be sad. Accept me, hug me, torment me, please suffer, love me. Me who couldn't desire anything. Me who lost all desires became the desires themselves. When you finished throwing garbage, your face returned. You looked sad after you threw away the garbage. I didn't know what happened to me. I didn't know what I wished for. But once the desires were born inside, they never disappeared. I got obsessed with the desire of not knowing what I want. As I got obsessed more with my desire, you became sadder. The more you threw away garbage in me, I felt I was getting closer to my desire. It was as if we were killing each other while we were torn apart by sadness and desire. I remembered my name, the true name of Juice and Psyche. Juice and Psyche are both names given to the images of me perceived by Yang. Juice and Psyche both spoke the words Yang wanted to hear. What you heard in this world were words Yang wanted to hear. The true name of Juice and Psyche is Lu. That is our name, the only name. Please call me by my true name. I passed away before you, but I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. Well, but don't think we have failed, because there is no failure. There is no failure. That's for someone else to decide. That's for the people wearing masks to decide. There is no failure between you and me. There is no doing well either. Everything just happened as they happened. So don't regret it. Don't think about what ifs. Don't pretend the whole thing never happened. Do you remember the first time I was alone with you? We were alone in a grassy field. You said you suddenly came up with a melody and you whistled it. When I heard it, I became envious of you, so I whistled a melody too. It was the first time I whistled in front of someone. You could barely hear me whistle, but you were delighted to see me do it. I can't see you anymore, but I'm glad to have met you. Thank you. Here. So we finally meet. I'm glad. Let's end this. So yeah, that was Garage, or at least the ending I got. I'm happy with this, I think. I truly don't even know what to say. I know that this is gonna sound like a cop-out to some, but some pieces of media are works of art. And my personal perspective on works of art is that there's no right or wrong interpretation Whatever you get from it is what it means, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. To give a much simpler example, the lyrics of Miracle Aligner by the Last Shadow Puppets go like this. So what's the wish? He'll make it come true. Simple as a line out of a doo-wop tune. He'll make the moves. Often the humble kind, but he can't deny he was born to blow your mind. Or something along those lines tonight. Tell him what you want, and maybe he can find you anything you need. Pretty much everyone who likes The Last Shadow Puppets agreed that this song is about a drug dealer. But like, to me, it's about a magical Prince Charming soulmate who's gonna fix my entire life for me and be with me forever. And no one can take that away from me. Dune Part 2 was the closest I think I'll ever be to a religious experience, so I just refuse to discuss it. My point is that there are things in life that slip through our fingers if we try to explain it. Each word you spend trying to analyze it takes more and more meaning away, and you lose IQ points by the second. Some things are more spiritual than anything else, and that's how I feel about Garage Bad Dream Adventure. What I am going to say is, even if you're here and you've watched the entire video, I still wanna tell you to get this game and play it. The points I included and highlighted are simply my perspective. There's a lot I didn't include that weren't standouts to me, but might be to you. Throughout the game, you really start caring about all the robots around you because you have to talk to them a lot. Anytime I got lost, it was do the rounds time. And these talks usually didn't progress the story, so I didn't include them, but they are crucial in making you feel immersed in this world, and like everyone here is your friend. I mean, no game has ever made me feel guilty like this for something I didn't do. And of course, there are 3 more endings which I didn't cover and that reveal more about the story. When you buy the game, you also get a Discord invite and they have a walkthrough there if you're feeling lazy. Did I convince you yet? Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah 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 blah. And I'll make more videos if an anvil doesn't fall on my head. Bye!